Cowboys keep on keeping on winning games or will they not? I think these are the 5 questions that will define it. What is up, everyone, and welcome into A to Z Sports Dallas Primetime. I am your host, Mauricio Rodriguez, streaming with you live every Sunday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central, and catching up with you Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays with quick-hitting videos such as this one. Yesterday, we talked about the biggest reason why I thought the Cowboys could keep on winning games. If they're going to do it, I said, it's going to be because of the pass rush. It's been ferocious since the last couple of weeks, in the last few weeks, ever since Micah Parsons returned. The Cowboys are just really making a nightmare out of opponents' quarterbacks' lives. And as long as the game script, and I'm talking not about the NFL scripted memes, I'm talking about the way that the game goes, as long as the opponent still needs to drop back and throw the ball, the Cowboys are going to be in these ball games because they can do it at a very high level. There's no one in the NFL with more pressures than Micah Parsons ever since he returned. He has 5.5 sacks. If you count them as PFF does, where they do full sacks instead of half sacks, he's at 8 sacks. So he is playing just out of his mind, and he's also enabling Mike Zimmer to do all of this crazy stuff. You'll see Micah Parsons rush from the inside at defensive tackle. You'll see him free up, say, Donovan Wilson when he's walking up to the line of scrimmage, and then Micah Parsons stunts inside, and then Donovan becomes a free rusher because the offensive tackle is trying to get to Micah Parsons and forgets about the defensive back, right? So all of that, I think, is the biggest reason why the Cowboys will keep on winning games. But I wanted to look at other reasons or talk about the other question marks that I have about this team that I believe will define whether or not the Cowboys keep on winning ball games. So number one question is as simple as that. Can the Cowboys and Micah Parsons and friends keep on putting the pressure on opponents like they have so far? I think we have a very big reason to believe this will continue to happen, and that is the fact that Micah appears to be fully healthy. Micah McCarthy talked about it with the media last week, where he was saying he's at 100%. Micah is not, seemingly, he's not banged up. And maybe that was the advantage, and obviously this is ironic, right? But the fact that the Cowboys were losing so many games kind of allowed the Cowboys to not rush Micah back onto the playing field. And I think we're seeing that now that he's 100%, how big of an impact he can make. But also, you've got a 3 technique that is playing lights out in Ozo Digisuwa. And he's also opening up some things for the Cowboys defense. We even looked at a few plays last night when we went over some of those examples where he's taking on 2 offensive linemen and allowing Micah to get some one-on-ones over the interior. He is demanding attention from the opponents is what he is. He is forcing, and I think the fact that the Cowboys have so many guys forced the Giants, for example, on Thanksgiving to use their running back as a sniffer right behind the line of scrimmage, helping out in pass pro. So not lined up as a halfback, but rather up in the line of scrimmage to try to deal with as many double teams as they can, right? And that allows the offensive line to slide to Micah Parsons' side where they wouldn't be able to otherwise. And that kind of stuff, I think, is also because of how many players are showing up on the defense. Not only Osa, but also Lawson and Golston are playing some good football now, and that's also a very big positive. So can the Cowboys keep rushing the passer like they have? That is question number 1 for me. Question number 2, can Rico Dowdle keep running as effectively as he has over the last few weeks? Because I think we're starting to see the shift on the Cowboys, on their game plans where they're becoming more willing to give Rico many carries. I think one of the things that frustrated me the most during the Cowboys losing streak was that, I'll give you some numbers here, Rico Dowdle had 5 rushing attempts versus the Lions in a 47-9 loss. And maybe you could justify that by the fact that the Cowboys just needed to pass because they were not going to win any other way, right? But Rico rushed 12 times versus the Falcons. That was a one-score loss. Could have handed him the ball a little bit more. Versus the Eagles, he rushed the ball again 12 times for a good chunk of that game. The Cowboys were in it. The same versus the Texans. 34-10 makes it sound like a blowout, and it was, but it didn't happen until the second half. He had 10 carries versus the Texans. But lately, it's a 19 carry game versus the Commanders. Rushes 19 times for 86 yards as a 4.5 average. And versus the Giants, it was 22 rushes for 112 yards. The Cowboys are blocking better for Rico Dowdle up front. You're seeing big games out of Tyler Smith and Brock Hoffman, and even Terrence Steele is looking like his former self in the running game department. I still believe the pass pro issues are showing up every week, but he's been better run blocking for Rico Dowdle. If the Cowboys keep on leaning on Rico and asking him to carry 20 attempts or more each week, and he's doing it efficiently, the Cowboys might stick around in these ball games a little bit longer than many would have anticipated. So that's question number 2. Can Rico Dowdle keep doing his thing? Because he, not only is he being successful down to down, but you're also seeing the explosiveness. And maybe that wasn't the case early on in the season. Even when we wanted him to carry the ball more, we were not seeing the explosives pretty much until the Steelers game. And then they stopped handing him the ball, which was a frustrating part. But it seems like now the Cowboys are all in on Rico, and I want to see these 20 carry type games moving forward. Number 3 question for me, this is an important one because we're also going to talk about pass rush, but we're going to flip it. Can the Cowboys keep Cooper Rush as clean in the pocket as they have so far this season? So far, the last couple of weeks even, he's been extremely clean. I'm talking about in the wins versus the Commanders and the Giants, Cooper Rush has dropped back 71 times. He's been pressured 11 times. That's a 15% pressure rate. It would rank dead last among 41 qualifying quarterbacks in the NFL. By qualifying, I mean that they've played enough snaps to be eligible for these kind of statistics. 15% pressure rate would be the lowest among 41 qualifying quarterbacks. If you look at Cooper Rush's overall pressure rate, he is 40th out of 41 QBs in the league right now. And you're seeing that as part of the game plan where the Cowboys are getting rid of the football quickly, but also because of improved play at the line of scrimmage, I think. You're seeing big games out of Brock Hoffman. You saw a big game out of Cooper Beebe again. You see Tyler Smith doing his thing. Again, the tackles are the problem for the most part as far as pass pro goes, but the Cowboys are looking much better than they did early on in the season. If Cooper Rush gets to work with these clean pockets, you're going to get decent results. I'm not going to tell you that we're going to see a version of Cooper Rush that is going to win you games, but it might not cost you the games. So that is one of the biggest question marks for me moving forward. But I'll make a brief pause here and ask you, what do you think will define whether or not the Cowboys win games or not moving forward? I want to see your thoughts in the comments. What are you betting on for the Cowboys to keep on winning ball games? In the meantime, I'll let you know what I'm betting on, and that is at Texas Card House, where you can join the premier poker experience in any of their 6 Texas locations, and you can meet the excitement of the game with the thrill of the community. And I always say this, if you want to play poker, you gotta choose the right community to do so with. That's what you'll find at Texas Card House, where you can find the perfect blend of luxury, sophistication, and camaraderie for any poker aficionado. That is whether you are just starting out or you're already a poker expert. If you go to Texas Card House, you will get the premier poker experience. Plus, if you mention us, if you mention A to Z Sports, you will get a free month of membership and 2 free hours to play poker. That's at the Las Colinas venue and at the Dallas venue. Just go there, mention A to Z Sports, and you're going to get the Sports Fan Special free month of membership at Texas Card House, plus 2 free hours to play poker. If you're not playing poker at Texas Card House, you're playing poker wrong. Check them out at Texas Card House. That's what I'm betting on moving forward. But also, aside from the pass rush thing that I already mentioned, One of the things that I could be able to bet on for the Cowboys would be the cornerback room. The reason why I say that is that we might be getting close to finally seeing the Cowboys defensive backfield as it should be. Not with Andrew Booth in there, not with Amani in there, not even with Kalen Carson in there, or heck, Josh Butler. And it sucks that Josh Butler suffered a season ending injury. It sucks that he's going through that after such a cool story, being a standout for the Cowboys, being named team captain. It really sucks. But we have not seen DaRon Bland and Trevon Diggs play together all season long. And it seems like we're finally getting close to seeing that. To me, one of the biggest questions is, who are the starting Cowboys cornerbacks moving forward? Because if they are to win games, you have to have Trevon and you have to have DaRon Bland in there. Plus, obviously, Jordan Lewis in the slot, who has been a beast all season long. But I got to know who are those two outside corners, and it's got to be them. To me, it's got to be Diggs and it's got to be Bland, because that will open up so many possibilities where Mike Zimmer will be able to keep playing man coverage and keep sending some blitzes versus opponents, keep doing those double A gap looks, because all of that gets real complicated when you're not playing man coverage, and you cannot play man coverage if you don't have the right corners, right? So if you're talking about a Bengals game next week where you got to go up against T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, it's going to be tough if you don't have DaRon Bland and Trevon Diggs on the outside. So hopefully Diggs is able to return. Missed last week's game with a knee/groin injury. Bland finally came back, but Diggs didn't. So it's got to be those two on the outside next week if we want to see the Cowboys having a shot at winning these games. Last but not least, number 5, can the Cowboys be successful on third down? And I bring that up because the Cowboys rank 24th for the season in third down conversion percentage. And I think you can tell the difference very clearly with the Commanders win and the Giants win over the last couple of weeks. Versus the Commanders, the Cowboys suffered a lot because they couldn't move the chains on third down. The Cowboys went, I think it was something like 2 for 11. It was an 18% conversion percentage versus the Giants, who were at 47. Now, if you're near 50%, you're near the best teams in the league as far as moving the chains on third down goes, because that's what you want. You want a 50% mark. I mean, you want a 100% mark, but the best team in the NFL right now sits at 53% third down conversion percentage. So that's what you're really aiming for. If the Cowboys can move the chains like they did versus the Giants, they can keep themselves in ball games. They can keep ball games close, which means they can rush the passer, which means Cooper Rush doesn't need to drop back and throw deep passes on a straight drop back where he cannot benefit from play action or rolling out or all of that. You need to move the chains on third down. It is basic, it is cliche, but I think you can really tell the difference from what the Commanders game looked like versus the Giants. I think that if Kevontae Turpin does not return a 99-yard kickoff for a touchdown in Washington, the Cowboys don't win that ball game, right? And that's what I'm talking about with this. You got to move the chains, got to keep the sticks moving, and that is going to be a big-time factor on whether or not the Cowboys keep on winning games or not. So those are my 5 questions. Just really quickly to recap, can the Cowboys keep on rushing the passer as well as they have? Can Rico Dowdle keep running the ball as efficiently as he has? Can they move the chains on third down like they did versus the Giants, as opposed to what they did versus the Commanders? Who are the Cowboys cornerbacks, and is it Trevon Diggs and Bland? Because if not, yikes. And number 5, can the offensive line can keep Cooper Rush as clean as they have over the last couple of games? Because if they can, boy, you got a shot at winning these ball games. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be it for me tonight here on the show. Hope that you have a great start to your week. Hope that your Monday went well, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.